And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the latest and greatest installment of Go Folk Yourself podcast, an American podcast brought to you from the fucking four corners of the United States of America now. No longer just in sunny Orlando, Florida, but in all the various places that our cast members live. Tonight, you've got a very special episode ahead for you with the Go Folk Yourself podcast self-proclaimed A-team. That's right. You've got Brett on the mic tonight, accompanied by who else is here?
Hey, Nick's here.
Hi, and Ethan's also here.
Ah, fantastic. So you guys know it is going to be...
Felt like my voice was weird there.
Hey, it was weird.
That's why we keep you on the show.
It's weird the whole time. That's been it all along.
Super weird, but I'm here for it. How have you guys been? How's the quarantine?
Living in fear of dying from a deadly disease every day. It's great.
Every single day. And you know what? I wanted to say thank you to all of our new patrons because of that podcast we posted about that pandemic. You guys are the best.
That's right. Thanks, folks. You did it.
You did it.
We can't do this without listeners like you.
Also living in constant fear every single day. The fascist dystopia that is the states of America. And also the United Kingdom.
Yeah. Right? It's weird how we keep getting connected like that.
They love us.
And we keep running into you guys here. It's so weird.
Boots on the ground. What is going on in America? That's what they want. Okay. And this is what it is.
That sounds like a new segment for us. I like it.
Boots on the ground. What is going on in America?
Ethan's here with Boots on the Ground. An American story.
Oh, God. Everything's on fucking fire.
I should not be in charge of it. The quarantine's been okay with me because I've been distracted by raising a baby. So I don't have the existential dread of everyone else, but it's there.
If I just keep this little guy alive, I'm good.
Everything's gonna be fine.
You've got a definite end goal, so that must make it a little bit easier of continued survival of your line.
Truly, not to get too dark, I hope this is all long gone by the time he can remember anything.
I'm sure it will be.
Because I don't want to have to explain this to him. I want him to find out about it in high school, have his teacher explain it, and then when he comes home, he's like, "I was alive." Kind of like us and Desert Storm. Mm-hmm. We were alive.
I remember that. I think.
Yeah, I played it on PlayStation. It was great.
we were alive for the George H.W. administration.
I remember Dan Quayle jokes being on cartoons, but I didn't know who Dan Quayle was till I was an adult.
You remember, we've talked about it before. You remember the OJ joke that was on the Animaniacs where it was a little cartoon OJ and the gloves wouldn't fit?
Yeah, that's dark.
I remember at the time thinking like, this is funny. But I don't know why.
Look at that guy adjusting his gloves. Those don't fit him. That's hilarious.
He's relevant.
That was very shocking. It was almost as shocking as the Waco episode of Rugrats. You know, that
And just like that, everything old is new again. The Bronco's back and racism's alive and well.
I'm only really excited about one of those things, and that's the Bronco. I've always wanted a Bronco.
Right?
And now that I'm an adult, I still can't afford it. So.
A roommate in college of mine had a Bronco, and it was fucking cool.
It's so cool. It's the coolest SUV that has ever existed.
It is 100% guaranteed to get you some poon. This episode brought to you by the Ford Bronco. Get out there.
Ford Bronco.
Ford's going to listen to this and be like, oh, shit. That's a good idea.
Damn it, those boys are right.
Those boys are at it again.
Royalties.
We're going to send you 100 Ford bucks.
Can we just talk about how I have a theory, not to get too far off topic.
That's what the show's about, getting off topic, Ethan. Feel free.
Thank you. I am convinced that all of this hatred about, well, not the hatred, but like all the people that are like, the Confederate flag is my heritage. I'm convinced it's the Dukes of Hazzard. That's it. They like remember that show and they remember.
Look, I generally had that flag on it, and that's all that matters. I just know that my uncle liked that show, and those Duke boys are at it again.
I'm convinced that people are like, no, that's my heritage. And it's like, you just fucking like Leonard Skinner. That's
Is
it.
that all it
You
would
can
take,
say
though?
that you like Leonard Skinner.
You just like Leonard Skinner.
Hang on, we might be onto something here. If we could get a crossover PSA from the Dukes of Hazzard, really just Daisy Duke, and
The
wearing
surviving
full
Skinner
length,
guys.
the surviving Skinnards, and Daisy Duke in full length pants, they just look at the General Lee and say, God, I hated this when I had it. It's just I got it from my uncle. And they take the flag off the top and put Old Glory on top.
Yeah.
Or better yet, maybe not even a fucking flag.
There's no flag
Maybe,
at
how
all.
about the number one? That's
Yeah. Give you the number one.
Number
Even
one.
better than the number one, 69.
Perfect. That
Right?
they really missed the boat. They had everyone on that cast was sexy. They could have really leaned into it. You know,
I would have
They could have.
gladly gotten it from Boss Hog.
Yeah. So, this episode brought to you by Boss Hog.
Boss Hog's Hog. Ride it.
Oh, that's going to haunt me in my dreams.
It is,
So-
but it's also going to be a Patreon
So
jingle.
I don't know if we're gonna get any flack for that, but like if our fans are like big fans of the Confederate flag,
Then fuck you,
unsubscribe.
unsubscribe.
I'll give you
off.
back your $1 from Patreon.
like
Yeah,
go
you-
fuck off. Like
Yeah, I feel like we should have never had to say these things, but let's go ahead and get this one right out of the way. Fuck fascism. Fuck the Confederate flag. They lost.
Fuck
And
12.
the Civil War was about slavery. The South
Yep.
were the bad guys.
yeah.
Okay. Now that being said, let's talk about a fun conspiracy.
On a lighter
Yes.
note,
On to the meat and potatoes of this episode.
Yeah, that's right. I hope you guys are ready because we're going to go to some strange places tonight.
They're
I
not
mean,
ready.
We always go to strange places, but I feel like this one is like egregiously strange. So, what if I was to tell you guys that inside of our Earth, the place that we live, there be not only dragons, but advanced civilizations, UFOs,
Balderdash.
and an entire world populated by things that we can't see? If only we could get into it.
You mean to tell me the Batcave has UFOs?
What?
That's right. Imagine if the Batcave were ever present.
An infinite bat cave.
I'm listening.
Wakanda forever, but under the earth, if you will. Yes, that's right, ladies and gentlemen. We are talking about the hollow earth theory tonight. We're not talking about the flat earth theory because that one is just
That's
ridiculous.
bullshit.
Please.
But
see
Hollow Earth, I'm
previous
listening.
message. Yeah.
Hollow earth has captivated me.
Victor, play the Hollow Earth jingle. God, I love that song.
Perfect. Love it. Every single time, Victor.
need-
That was great.
Brings a
need to
tear to
write
my eye.
Hollow Earth theme. I'll write
Please
a
do.
Hollow
I'll put it
Earth
in the episode.
theme.
So, before we dive into the hollow earth meat and potatoes here, have either of you ever heard of this theory before we begin dissecting it tonight?
So, yes, but not as the Hollow Earth theory. Like, I've heard of it, like in passing, like, you know, from I'm sure a lot of things we're going to cover. But I mean, there's always been allusions to it. People always joke like, what's underneath the dirt? You know what I mean? Like, is it hell?
It's
Is
China,
it whatever?
and
Is it
everyone
China?
knows this.
Yeah, I mean,
China.
I definitely dug in my sandbox to get to China as a kid, and I'm still digging.
One day
You-
you'll get there. I'm confident of that.
Yeah, he's digging to this day.
I believe.
It's
Yeah.
like in Minecraft. You just keep going.
You
You'll reach the
hit
end.
bedrock, and then there's nothing more.
Right.
Bedrock from
Uh,
the Flintstones, I imagine, right?
Right,
Yes.
exactly.
Okay, good.
With the Hollow Earth, I purposefully did not look anything up. I've not heard of this theory almost whatsoever, other than vaguely knowing Journey to the Center of the Earth.
You know a lot more about it than you think you do.
Yeah. I did very cursory research, like just kind of diving in, and it was like, oh, there's a lot of things tied into this.
Yes.
No shit.
I'm
really.
actually really excited to talk about this.
100%. Journey to the Center of the Earth was written at the fucking height of the Hollow Earth theory.
What?
Yes.
No fucking way.
You broke the
Yes.
case wide open, buddy.
So, and the main proponent of Hollow Earth would become Journey to the Center of the Earth.
Really?
Brendan
welcome.
Fraser.
What?
You're all caught up.
That's it? The guy from The Mummy?
Yeah.
The
Among
guy
other
in,
things.
real quick sidebar.
Yeah.
Also now Doom Patrol, Brendan Fraser is back, ladies and gentlemen. This is an alert to all of our listeners.
I'm so excited.
We're
He
going to
is-
do a Doom Patrol series.
I'm here for it. Doom Patrol is excellent. I've watched like 4 episodes of it. Brendan Fraser, you've stolen my heart yet again, you son of a bitch.
Ugh,
He deserves it. I
Brendan.
know we've already had the whole rant about how he got shafted by Hollywood, but I'm just going to say I'm so happy for him. He
Me
deserves
too.
it.
I'm glad to hear he's back.
You know, he really inspired me to dig into the Hollow Earth theory with his hit film Journey to the Center of the Earth.
We're making a face right now.
Yeah.
This is
No,
audio, but man,
right.
is this a live face?
So let's dig in to what exactly the Hollow Earth is. So, shocker, it's exactly what it sounds like. It's that the interior of the Earth is actually a hollow cavity that if you were to dig far enough in, that you would break into this cavity. Now,
Much like a dentist.
yes, or like a Cadbury egg of sorts.
Oh.
Ugh.
Mm.
Ugh. So we have
No,
one
not a
fan, one
fan.
not fan.
No.
I can't. This is no, hey, look, I have no qualms with jizz, right? But I don't want it in my candy egg. No,
want
thank
it
you.
Across my face, in my hair,
In my cup.
exclusively not in my candied eggs.
Yeah, put it in a mug. I'm all about it, but not my chocolate eggs.
Champagne glass in my shower. So
Ugh.
This is Dom Perignon's. Do you not understand? Never mind.
So all right, so we've got the hollow earth theory at its core is literally that the center of the earth is not a nickel alloy of molten magma or whatever it is that science has actually confirmed that it is.
Yeah, claim, right?
Claim,
I
alleged
haven't seen it.
scientist.
It's Play-Doh, we know.
Right. So
Plato?
Hot Play-Doh.
The
just roiling around.
philosopher?
Yes.
Yes, the ancient Greek. The allegory to the cave was actually a literal cave.
It was him talking about a cave filled with a spit of gyro meat.
The-
How could that not be more clear? It's
These are
hot.
s-
It roasts the meat, and
These
that's
are the
why it's
hot
hollow.
takes that the internet needed for this.
These are smart jokes. If people are laughing, you should feel smart.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we went from a champagne glass full of ejaculate to Plato's allegory of the cave, and oh my
Yeah.
God, we're only like 8 minutes in here.
Yeah.
So good job, gentlemen.
Yeah, we're burning through it. I love it.
This is why we're the A team.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's right. That's why we're like the number 87th folklore-related podcast on the entire internet, guys.
Which is odd because there's only like 10 of them. The first 5 are just lore.
So that being said, the hollow earth theory, at first face value, looking at it,
Mhm.
completely batshit insane.
Right.
But when
Sure.
you start thinking about it, still batshit insane, but it's got some legs. So let's
Okay.
explore these legs, okay? So
Let's
we've got a couple-
suspend belief for a little bit and keep
exactly.
talking.
It's suspended.
So maybe
Okay.
you'll become a believer, just like me, by the end of this podcast.
Oh,
Do you
no.
believe in the hollow earth theory?
Yes, certainly do.
For right now, I do. Absolutely. We'll
purposes
see
of
how I
this
feel over the
episode?
next 45 minutes.
So there's a couple options as to what may actually be in the hollow earth. There's some competing theories here.
Okay.
So our big 3, a mythical region that belongs to various pantheons of ancient deities. We've got
What?
a series of connected caverns with varying types of climate and megafauna. So for those of you that are unaware of what megafauna means, that means dinosaurs and other primordial beings.
I mean, the
Or-
surfer hand motion.
Surfer. My favorite, underground civilizations that are either more primitive or more advanced than we could ever comprehend. These are our 3 things.
So the first one is basically the ethereal plane. In
Ethereal
D&D.
plane where deities live, yes.
Okay.
The other 2 are basically the Underdark.
Correct. Well, one is the Underdark, and then the other is more like Wakanda or like anti-Wakanda.
Okay, borderline Feywild kind of thing.
Yeah.
Credit Wizards of the
So-
Coast. Don't sue me.
Before we go
Don't sue us.
into the
Go ahead.
various legs, if you had to pick one of those three, what would it be and why?
Ethan, I'll let you go first. You look like you got a good thought brewing.
I like the idea of the third one. Was the third one the megafauna or the dinosaurs?
So that would be the second one, but you're a fan of the megafauna.
I do
Why?
it just seems crazy.
It's a cool
into the
word
earth.
too.
It is a cool world. You go into the earth and you discover super Earth essentially.
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
But I do like the advanced civilizations because I'm a sucker for Atlantis. We all know that.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm a
What
big
if
fan
I
of the
were to tell
Feywild
you-
one.
What
Yeah.
if I were to tell you, Ethan, that Atlantis will play a role in this at some point in time?
This whole show is just a flat, hollow circle.
What?
Oh yes, but we'll get there.
Yeah.
All right.
So probably either the if I had to pick the civilizations, if I had to
Okay.
pick,
You're going for super advanced civilization under the earth.
yeah, I love that concept.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nick, what about you?
As much as I want to meet a drow and have them be like, "Hey, I'm just like you. It's just really dark down here." That'd be really cool. But I think the Catholic guilt is nagging me enough to know that it's probably deities and whatnot. Something going on down there.
So it's where hell is.
Right. Robot devil and all.
Fantastic. So early on into mythology, this got me thinking that if we were going to start dissecting this, we should probably start where the hypothesis logical beginning would be, which is mythology.
Love it.
So I've curated a selection of every different types of mythology that have an underground world for us to talk about. So obviously, Nick, you brought up the one that everyone is familiar with. So for those of us that weren't raised in Christianity, what's hell?
It's a vacation spot with hot tubs, tons of activities for you to do for like the rest of forever. It's Club Med, but with more brimstone, really.
It's where both Hitler and Gandhi live, according to Christians.
Right?
Yeah.
Maybe not Hitler. Depends on the Christians you ask.
I guess I'm not really clear on that. Not a practicing Christian
Me
myself.
neither.
So
We should go to a mega church and find out.
Mega church in Manafaka.
there we go. I'll just donate all of our Patreon money to a mega church, and then we'll get the answers that we need, and then we'll have this one wrapped up in about a week, I think.
Boom.
Depending on the amount of money, maybe we don't even need to go there.
Exactly. So, where is Christian hell to your recollection?
Typically, you'll hear anybody describe it as down there. Like the colloquialism is like you're going down to hell, down below. Satan's realm is very much subterranean.
Exactly. So, Christianity, we can all pretty much agree, about 2,000 years old,
Ish.
give or take, ish.
Give or take 35 years.
35 years. So,
The fact that none of us got struck by lightning is a good sign, though.
never say never. It is thundering here in my part of Florida.
oh God.
Oof.
Or gods, right?
Yeah.
So we've got a couple older examples. So any come to mind when you think of underworlds relating to other mythologies outside of Christianity?
I mean, your notes be damned. The first thing I did think of was Hades.
Okay.
That's my always
James
it always
Woods.
go to. Like, I loved the movie, so that is a very big, even like it inspired me to go back later and read the stories and the mythologies for myself. But
Yeah.
still, James Woods is Hades. I will accept no other answer.
He really
I
is.
forgot that.
It's a shame that he's such a fucking asshole nowadays.
Viral.
I mean, it fits the
asshole.
role.
Yeah. He does fit the role. So who knew he wasn't acting?
It turns out they're like, no, I can come in and do my day job on
They were like,
on mic, I guess.
You want to stop acting and just be a piece of shit on Twitter for a job? Yeah, plenty of people do that, James Woods.
Remember the time? That'll be a Patreon thing. Anyway, yeah.
That was a good tease.
Yeah, don't let me forget James Woods thing. Someone,
I'll write it down. James
the episode about James Woods' shortcomings. I'm here for it.
It's a very long episode.
Dragging James Woods, the Ethan story.
Interesting note on the Grecian underworld. We actually have a point of entry to get to the underworld in that mythology. So those of you that are familiar with the story of Persephone will know that she would actually venture into the underworld as part of her contract with Hades.
Hades town.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, you got to listen to the musical and the door's open.
Exactly.
Yep.
So
hashtag musicals.
You've got a definite entry point. That'll matter for the rest of these. The only one that doesn't seem to have an entry point is Christianity.
Your entry point is your life of sin, you heathen.
Where you die and then you're there.
Drinking the devil's nectar. That's your entry point.
So, Nick, you brought up the Underdark earlier for our D&D fans.
All three of you. And they're all on this show.
Nick, what is the Underdark for the 8 fans of ours that don't play D&D?
So the Underdark is basically a subterranean, realm or, plane of existence it's below Earth, obviously. So typically it's populated with things that are kind of like Earth adjacent humanoids and animals that are like kind of recognizable, but typically they're considered more evil. They're dark. They have a lot of like really negative attributes to them.
Right. You mentioned a being called a drow earlier. And what is that?
So a drow is like a dark elf, basically. So if you think about if Legolas is your prototypical, elf in fantasy, he's got, he's the pointy ears, the light skin, he's blonde, he's handsome. I would, look at the poster of him every night before I go to bed. The usual.
Right?
Yeah. A drow would basically be the anti-version of him. So drows have dark, sullen skin. They're very, typically described as morose, evil characters. Like it's only just now that people are kind of like taking that approach to say, hey, just because they're born down there doesn't mean they're evil. But for a long time, that's exactly what the writers said. They're like, no, if they're down there, they're evil.
Right. It wasn't Drizzt. What is that the guy's name? You know who I'm talking about?
Drizzt Do'Urden.
That guy. He was like one of our first bridges into a more complex
with the Dark Elf trilogy.
Elf?
Yes.
El
R.A.
Salvatore?
Salvatore. That's correct.
What a writer. Right?
Well,
I've got a little figure. I've got a figure of him on my bookshelf right here.
Does he look like David Bowie from the 80s? Because that's my favorite drawing style of Drizzt Do'Urden.
Let's see.
Go ahead. Let's show the audience on this audio-centric podcast, Ethan.
Yeah, he does look like David Bowie. And for all of our listeners, I promise I actually grabbed the figurine.
Hang on, Ethan. If you hold it up, I'll take a screenshot and it'll get tweeted with the episode. Hang on one second. Gonna just move that right there.
Should I kiss at him?
You can kiss him one more time. Give me like 3, 2, 1. Great.
This is great podcasting, everybody.
It really is.
And they'll
I
get to
couldn't
see,
have done that without all of you.
That's what you all come here for, I assume.
My American flag tank top.
It's going to be great.
What if I was to tell you that the concept of the Underdark and the concept of the Dark Elf was actually part of the Norse pantheon of mythology?
I'd say no. Get out.
Get out.
That's
right.
Get
out of your house.
Get out of my own house. So in the Norse pantheon, there is a realm called Svartalheim, which is part of the 9 worlds of the Norse mythology or cosmology, I suppose. Svartalheim. Yeah. Darkheim.
Chef's kiss.
Yeah, there you go. And guess what the fuck lives in Svartalheim? Dark elves.
Oh, my God.
Guess what? You know how you get to them?
How?
Caverns in the earth, in the mountains.
Like Thor, the
Shit.
Dark World.
Exactly.
That's right.
And now all the Marvel fans just woke up from their slumber and went, "Oh yes, of course."
Do we still have a cinematic universe? You do.
Somewhat.
Maybe.
Who's to know, really?
Do they though? I'm fine.
So there we go. We've got two ancient mythologies with a definite hollow earth space in which other things live. In the
Mhm.
Greeks, you've got the spirits of the dead and Hades himself, occasionally visited by Persephone via the caverns on the earth's surface.
Right.
In the Nordic pantheon, you've got the dark elves living in the hollow earth. And guess how you get there? Caverns in the mountains.
I'm connecting
Boom.
my fingers. I'm making this motion.
So is it that crazy?
Synergy.
Synergy. Let me give you a third one.
Okay.
The Celts. The Celts have their other world, which is their version of, I guess somewhat like what most would consider like the realm of Hades would be. And guess what? This inhabited by the Fae themselves. The other world is considered to be under the earth, where the fairies and Fae live. And guess how you get to them?
How?
If I had to take a guess, it probably rhymes with schmaverns.
It is schmaverns. That's what the Irish call them.
Schmaverns.
Go down the old schmavern, you'll see it.
Oh, schmaverns. That's what they sound like, right?
Yep.
So, three ancient civilizations predating Christianity, alternate realm in the hollow earth where spiritual things live. Pretty crazy.
This is crazy.
Now, let's flip that on the other side. So you remember how I told you there's a couple other options of what may be in the hollow earth itself?
Absolutely.
Yes.
All right. So what if I was to tell you that both the Buddhists and Hindus have their own hollow earth space to carve out?
This is getting a little weird.
Right.
But I wouldn't typically attribute those, like, those feel like a place that wouldn't have a negative zone, so to speak. Okay.
Oh, really? The Nordic one does not have a negative connotation. The Greek does not. The Celts do not. The only one that has a negative connotation is Christianity.
You know, it's weird with Christianity. I attribute the spooky, like, punishment land to the Greeks and the Celts and the Nordic. But you're right. When you just look at those individual beliefs, there's nothing inherently like evil.
Yeah. Everyone ends up in a certain place in the cosmology of those religions. But the underworld is not a place of punishment.
It just is.
It is, which is kind of like death for humanity. If you think about it, it is not necessarily a punishment. It is just something that happens as an inevitability.
If we're lucky.
Correct.
Right.
So our friends in the Buddhist faith have a mythical realm called Shambhala, which is a mythical kingdom of plenty in the caverns of Tibet.
What? Caverns?
Correct.
Tibet?
That's right. So are you familiar with like the myth of Shangri-La?
Mm-hmm.
That ring any bells?
No. I've heard of it, but I don't. What is the myth of Shangri-La?
So
for our listeners, I know. But
Nick, would you like to explain Shangri-La?
Ooh, Nick, you know?
That one's been a minute, so let me, if I remember correctly, it was basically just meant to be, I mean, kind of like you said, the kingdom of plenty, right? It is an ascensive place, like you get to it, you ascend to it, and it's kind of an escape from the cycles and from the wanting and everything.
Correct.
That is great news.
It's a place you want to go to, in other words.
I hope so.
Popularized in early 20th century literature, which has a tie-in to all this, and we'll get there.
I'm so excited.
Then I'll give you another good one from the Hindu faith. You have Patala, which is a splendid city of jewels and groves and gardens, home to the Naga spirits, which are the snake people in Hindu mythology. So you've got tie-ins from, like a creature that lives to some in like an underground caverny situation, like a snake being associated with it. But
if this literature tells me anything, that's also accessible via caves.
That is correct. You can get to all of these places if you know where to find it. And by God, we're going to find out how to get into this hollow earth ourselves.
Yeah, I feel like we're spending too much time above ground. Like if all of these places are like, just go in the caves. We need to go in the caves.
Have we
Right?
tried that? Have we just gone into these caves?
I've been into
What's-
like one cave and it sucked. There, like it
What's-
was damp and that's it.
I've been to one cave, maybe.
When you think of like the greatest cave or cavern in the entire world, what do you think of?
How Caverns, upstate New York.
if I had to
Probably
think
an entry point into the underworld.
Probably.
honestly.
I would think of the cave from Big Fish, where the giant guy comes out of the cave. That's the greatest cave I've ever seen.
That's a fucking awesome cave.
Yeah.
I think of
that?
the cave where Gollum lives personally.
Yes. God,
Cave of
great
Mysteries from Aladdin.
Yes. Yeah.
A lot of things going on here in the underground.
But if I had to pick my favorite real life cave, and I'm just taking one off the top of my head, I'm not
Mount
looking at
Rushmore.
any document, I would have to say Mount Rushmore second, but this one would be the Grand Canyon.
Fuck yes, it is. Which is, to the Hopi people, the entry point into the underworld itself.
Holy shit.
That's why I've never
addition-
gone.
There you go.
Have you guys been to the Grand Canyon?
Never.
I haven't. It's on my wife's list. Very, very high up.
You've been there?
I have been there. I have terrible news. It is a giant crack in the ground. That's it.
Did you ride a donkey into it?
No. Because that's where hell is, Brett.
Come on, read your notes.
I think we're going to go to hell?
Not on my watch.
Not on my watch.
You go to the Grand Canyon, sir.
But the Grand Canyon, yeah, me and my wife went, and we just kept calling it a big old crack. Kept saying crack, crack, crack. Big
And people
old
kept
crack.
walking by being like, why, you want some?
You know who we saw a lot at the Grand Canyon?
I'm really
Johnny
nervous
Depp.
for where this is going.
We saw a lot of Asian people.
Huh.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know why, but it was like, and it wasn't like one or two. It was like we were the only not Asian people.
Huh.
Yeah.
Very strange.
Where is the Grand Canyon? I still don't
really
know.
thought you were about to ask, where are Asian people from? And I wasn't going to be able to hold stop.
So I'm gonna fuck this up because I saw it on my honeymoon where we flew to Nevada, went to Arizona, then Utah. So I think the Grand Canyon's in Arizona.
I think it's in Utah.
I don't, I feel like
You know
we
what?
should know that, being a show about American folklore.
I know.
Hey,
I
Siri,
know.
where's the Grand Canyon? I totally know this off the top of my head. It is in Grand Canyon National Park.
Problem solved, ladies and gentlemen. You heard it here first. Grand Canyon.
Arizona. So sorry, Ethan. It's Arizona. Don't know
Thank
why I
you.
thought it was Utah.
I don't know. I think I clipped my mic really loud when I laughed just then, but I thought that was so funny.
That was fantastic.
Yeah,
Arizona.
Arizona.
Home of the Grand Canyon and Nicolas Cage's greatest film, Raising
Ghost
Arizona.
Rider.
Oh, dude, Raising Arizona is so good. Grand Canyon, it's fine.
It's an okay canyon.
You
I
should
would
just
maybe
name
I-
it like Fine Canyon.
I mean, it's the greatest canyon I've ever seen, but like you're at the top of it. So like you don't like happen upon and you're like, whoa. You're like, there it is. There's a big crack in the ground.
So your problem with the Grand Canyon was the presentation of the Grand Canyon.
What if there were
Which-
more fireworks or fire
think-
dancers?
I think if we painted more white men's faces on it,
That's what it needed.
or carved, or painted, either one.
Then it would
No, I
truly
feel
be
like
the Grand
blasted by
Canyon.
dynamite is the way to go.
Dude,
Well, now you're talking about the exceptional canyon.
The American exceptionalism canyon.
looking back at Mount Rushmore, that's fucked up that we did that.
Yep, sure is.
And we covered that in the episode of North Dakota for those of you that are looking to go back through our backlog. And we
Hashtag
discussed
best
how
Dakota.
fucked up it was. Or whatever Dakota, really. They're both the same Dakota.
They're both mid Dakotas.
I've been to neither Dakota. What if there was a West and East Dakota? Wow. What a world.
Like Idaho.
We're asking the hard-hitting questions here today.
Welcome to West Dakota, home of the potatoes.
Oh, yeah.
Man, I
Okay.
hope I got that geography right. That was the
think
fastest
you
I've ever
did.
had to think about states layouts.
I think you did. Do you know why Idaho's? Sorry, never mind. We need to go back
No.
to
Where's this going?
Yeah.
with Idaho, the reason why it's got such a weird like state line is because of the mountains.
Huh.
Yeah.
They just really wanted them.
It's I have no idea why. I think the people that lived in Idaho before it was Idaho, like basically carved out the mountain range where they're like, okay, we own this mountain range. For the listeners, I'm making lots of hand motions.
It's really translated.
Just picture Idaho in your head. If you don't remember what that looks like, go in your freezer and look at the Idaho potatoes. It's probably on the bag.
They're proud as hell of those potatoes.
They
love
They
those
should
potatoes.
be. Why not? But I saw, like, I have a topographical map, and it's like fucking mountains. That's why. Fucking mountains.
Wow. I bet that there's an entry point into the hollow earth in those mountains somewhere.
Oh my god.
Because
you might be onto something.
I'll be goddamned if there's not an entry point into the hollow earth in every country in the world, apparently.
Right. Yeah. There was a book I read last year that was like a horror book about the devil was in
Georgia.
What the
Sorry.
fuck was the name of that book? They made a movie about it.
Lucifer on Netflix.
Bedazzled.
No.
With Elizabeth Hurley.
We should keep
And
talking.
Brendan Fraser.
I'm gonna Google it, and then I'll just say it.
We'll put a pin in that one. We'll come back to it.
Yeah.
So let's talk about.
Please go on.
Let's talk a little bit about the changes in the belief system of the hollow earth.
Okay.
So we've got the ancient origins now through mythology.
Mm-hmm.
So let's all progress up to the age of enlightenment and the Renaissance when we really start fucking with this theory.
Yeah. That is so weird.
So I am enlightened. There's stuff below us.
First true scientific hypothesis of the hollow earth comes out in the 15th to 16th centuries. So for those of you kids at home, that is roughly between the discovery of America, settlement of Jamestown, and when Shakespeare was alive.
The book was called The Descent.
Oh, like the horror movie, The Descent, and
That's
The Descent 2.
It was based off the book.
The Descent 2, even deeper.
The Descent. Yeah.
Descented.
Do not recommend the
Thank you,
book.
Nick.
It was not very good. Please.
The movie, however, pretty okay.
Pretty
Book was-
watchable.
Yeah. All right. So I'm sorry. Please go on. Jamestown.
Yeah. So if you're in the headspace of Jamestown settlement, that's when we really start putting pen to paper on this.
Oh, yeah.
What if I was to tell you that the man that discovered and is the namesake of Halley's Comet was the first famous proponent of the hollow earth?
I would say get out.
That's
I
right.
don't believe you.
I do, though.
Edmund Halley.
Well, two sides of this shit. I believe you, Brett.
We'll do crossfire. The hollow earth
right.
theory.
Edmund Halley himself believed that the earth itself was hollow because there would be no other way that magnets could get fucked up unless the earth was hollow.
What the fuck kind of bullshit
Now
theory
look,
is that?
the famous astronomer that determined that comet's mine, I know a thing or two about science, and I've broken open my fair share of magnets, and they're not hollow. So why wouldn't the Earth be hollow?
Why wouldn't
Rest
it
my
be hollow?
case.
Sometimes magnets fuck up. Sometimes compasses fuck up. Logical conclusion. There is an entirely separate Earth inside of our Earth. And everybody was like, you know what? You discovered a comet. We're not going to argue with you.
We just have our own comet inside. This is the chocolate shell of the nougat that is the comet inside the Earth.
The real comet is
honestly not that far off from how he described it. So
Haley.
His proposition is that the Earth has a shell, like a Cadbury egg, if you will. It's 500 miles thick with two separate internal cores that spin concurrently around an even centralized compressed core.
So if I take this Ferrero Rocher, which I'm miming holding up, and spin it around, the crunchy wafer part in the middle is the hollow part?
Correct. And then there's that nougaty part that is spinning constantly within itself encapsulated around one crystallized thing, which is the logical explanation of why sometimes magnets don't work right and compasses get fucked up.
He was so close, though.
He's
so close to what it actually is. That's like, I'm almost not even mad.
Yeah, he was just this. He was this close, and
He was like
instead
500 miles away from it.
And it's fucking Lurgasalo. Fuck it, I don't know. Who gives a shit?
So our next progression into this may be complete bullshit, or it may be real. Well, unfortunately, we will not know. So,
Damn.
in the 1930s, sci-fi authors started picking this up as being something that they wanted to talk about. So, unfortunately, they did a little bit of historiography. So, kids, that means when you fuck with history for your own benefit.
That's one of my favorite
you mean like
words.
everybody that's ever written a history book ever?
Correct, yes.
That is such a great school of thought. It's wild.
It's the most thought-provoking thing relating to history you could ever learn about, because it makes you challenge your own beliefs and how everything is actually works and throughout our existence. So
this is going to go back to a conversation we all had internally off mic, but maybe that's why history is considered an art degree. And I didn't think about it that way until just now.
That's got to be it. You're right.
Because unfortunately, it can be up for interpretation because you didn't see it. You have first and second hand accounts, but that's about as good as it gets.
Whereas music, hard science.
Hard science, just like marketing.
Marketing, hard science. No one's going to disagree with that.
For the audience, we were discussing our degrees, and most of the team, most of the team, if you couldn't guess, has bachelors in the arts of something.
Yeah.
Except for me and Ethan, who are bachelors of science, of marketing and music, respectively.
Wait, those are both sciences?
Yeah.
Yes. You were working. You weren't very involved.
Both have BSs. I am outnumbered because I have a BA and you both have BS. Okay.
Also, Dan Kay and Dan Barron.
Yeah.
All bachelors of arts of various things. Granted, I think we can all agree, since Dan's not on the mic and can't defend himself, film is not a science no matter what.
Nope.
Quentin Tarantino be damned.
Yeah,
that's right.
But me and Nick, same number of science degrees.
Big science guys.
Science guy.
You guys are both scientists. So what I'm about to share with you is going to blow your mind.
Okay, let's hear it.
So we're getting closer to refining this theory now. So these sci-fi authors from the 30s dug up a bunch of first-hand sources from the mid-18th century, claiming that Leonard Euler, famed Swiss mathematician, actually expounded on Halley's ideas to prove that not only was Halley right, but there was more than meets the eye to the hollow earth. Because according to them, Leonard Euler pitched that there was a fucking sun as the hazelnut core in the Ferrero Rocher that is the earth.
What?
And that
I hate that they're getting closer to being correct. That's what's really
so
bothering
close.
Me.
Through this whack, it's like it's going parallel with like the real shit.
Like they can see the exit coming up, and they're like, "I'm not gonna get off there. I'm gonna get off one exit earlier and beat the traffic."
We move a little bit further in the 18th century, and we get to Sir John Leslie, who is a Scottish mathematician that claims that Euler was wrong, that it's not just one sun, but in fact two rotating suns inside of the Earth, which explains centrifugal force on the planet Earth itself.
This is so wacky.
This is referenced by Jules Verne in Journey to the Center of the Earth.
Is it? Oh,
there's the name of my two boys, Jules and Verne.
Also in Back to the Future 3.
Doesn't he name his kids?
He does.
You're right.
He's like, hey, I haven't seen you in like 40 years. These are my kids, Jules and Verne. Because I still haven't grown out of this book.
One kid is named Vern.
These are my kids, the one I like and the one I hate, Jules and Verne.
Vern. These are my sons, Mark and Twain.
Mark and Hamill.
Yeah.
I would do that though.
Yeah, me too.
It's like the prologue of Harry Potter, like just giving people wild names.
Oh my God.
No one cares.
I named you after the man who I really respected and the one who abused me as a child.
Yep. I liked someone rewrote the ending where it was like, and you're named after the only people who ever gave a shit about me, Hagrid Potter. I've always wanted that to be the real ending.
Yeah, I don't know why that kid wasn't named Rubius Sirius Potter, but whatever.
Like,
No, Hagrid gets no love.
nope. Instead, I'm going to name it as the fuck boy who couldn't get over my mom's death.
Yeah, there's that guy who was a real cuck. Oh, man. Anyway, that's why your name's Cerberus.
So, Ethan.
Yeah.
You know, while we were chatting about this, how I was
Yes.
preparing you for the most mindfuck thing of all.
Okay.
Are you ready for the mindfuck relating to the Hollow Earth?
I don't think I am. But
It's a
let's hear
short
it.
path to get there, but we're going to get to him.
Okay.
So, we're now in the 19th century.
Love it.
John
My favorite.
Best century. Actually, is awful. Fucking terrible century. John Cleves Sims, American officer, trader, and traveling lecturer of the Eastern Seaboard, introduces and expounds on the theory of the Hollow Earth, claiming that everybody was so close, but not quite right. That in fact, that there were entrances to this Hollow Earth where advanced civilizations dwelt at both the North and South Pole, and proposes an expedition to the North Pole to find the entrance. Now, this was actually something that was hotly debated in Congress as to whether or not we should fund an expedition to the North Pole.
Get out.
And it came down to a talking point in the election between John Quincy Adams and Andrew Jackson.
No shit.
Who would you guess is pro Hollow Earth between JQA and the American Hitler, Andrew Jackson?
Having read the biography, that's right, humble brag, audience members.
Having read a book before.
I can read. I would initially think that JQA was JQA for it. Was he for it?
JQA was all for
This motherfucker.
Can I tell you why?
Why? Why?
Because
his dad was Paul Giamatti.
Andrew Jackson called him out for being too wishy-washy to hold a conviction. And so he went fucking balls deep on Hollow Earth despite Andrew Jackson.
Believe it or not.
Yeah, I do believe something. I'll tell you what. The Earth is hollow. God damn it. Maybe. Let's find out.
This was not mentioned in the biography.
Probably because
Can't imagine why.
Unflattering story.
That checks out though. I could totally see him being like, you know what, fuck it, let's do this shit.
So John Quincy Adams attended a lecture of John Cleves Sims, and he was so convinced by it, and he hated Andrew Jackson so much that he decided to double down on this and made it a party platform.
This is like those guys that go to Tony Robbins talks at like airports, and then they leave and they're like, I'm totally changing my life. I'm joining an MLM and it's going to be great. Everybody come buy my Cutco knives and use my Amway products.
That is absolutely what happened to JQA. And I could totally see that happening where he's like, you know what, this is a great idea and I will never change my mind ever.
So through his administration, he does not back down on this, but everyone around him thought it was fucking crazy. So they refused to give him money to go to the North Pole.
Good. Thank God.
Let's do a modern reenactment of how this session went, shall we?
All right. Yeah. Okay.
We're going to kind of use different characters to protect the innocent.
Okay.
We've got to go to the North Pole. There's something up there. I fucking promise. Give me the money. Give me the money.
I don't think we can. No.
Give me the money.
We really
We have the
can't.
best holes in the poles.
No.
You know it's true. It rhymed. All
Sir,
the best things rhyme. Hickory
can't.
dickory dock. Give me the money to get the fuck out of here.
We can't. I'm sorry.
This
Am I
is
the
bullshit.
only one here
Fire
that's
this
not
guy.
fucking insane? Of course we're not going to do that.
Where's Rudy Giuliani? Giuliani, get the fuck in the hole. He's already in a
No,
hole. Well,
this
somebody
this
get
is
in there.
Congress. Okay, we've just lost
Yes,
a war
I've
to
had sexual
England.
congress with many of your wives. That's not the point. Just give me the money.
The White House was recently set on fire.
We cannot do this. No, it's
We
not.
can't afford this.
There's a
I
reason
shouldn't have
it's
to say
called the White
obvious
House.
reasons.
Just give me the money. Go to the polls.
Oh my
And
God, he
November
wasn't
3rd.
reelected. Wow,
Who
who could
knew?
have guessed?
He was not.
Thanks for
And one of the
thanks for
first
attending
things
our
that
Mystery Science Theater.
one of the first things that Jackson does is defund the whole thing and scrap it.
I bet.
So he did one thing right.
Yeah, that
It's
was his one and only
pro,
thing.
20,000 no.
So
Yeah.
if I could just one more on this one before we move on.
Yeah.
The reason that he wanted to do this so bad was he wanted to be remembered as the president that struck a trade route between a new civilization and the United States of America for the purposes of establishing a monopoly.
What the fuck?
Oh my
He went
God.
all in on this shit.
That's right.
My name's going to go down in history. I've got a new trade route with the
Oh.
polars.
I'm
I
gonna
struck a
fucking
trade
nail
deal
this.
with the mole people. It's the best trade deal that we've ever seen.
I've been talking to the Poles. They love me. We have a trade route. Sir,
North,
that's not
south.
what the Poles are. They're an actual people. No, the other Poles, you idiot.
So
Nick, that is a great JQA impression.
Thank you.
it was like listening to a phonograph. It was
Yeah,
amazing.
exactly what it was.
incredible.
So that takes us through the history and development of the theory. So, first of all, what are your initial thoughts on this being debated in the hallowed halls of American government?
All in on it.
I fucking love it. I love that this is part of that wacky, dacky 18th century, 19th century shit, early 20th century, why not? Where the sciences or earth science is still getting figured out. And there's just some people that are like able to convince everyone of this crazy shit, and they haven't figured out like the actual thing. And so they're like, fuck it, I don't know the real thing. So yeah, maybe the earth is hollow. So I love it.
Can't argue with it. I mean,
Yeah.
it would maybe it makes sense, I guess. I don't know.
Nobody
I'm
ever
just-
else, nobody else has come here to say it's hollow, it's not hollow, whatever. So maybe it is.
Maybe
Go
it is
find out.
hollow.
Like, this is the epitome of American growth. Like, this is the explosion phase of the American experiment, right? Where they're like,
Yeah.
we don't know, it's still so new. Throw
Mhm.
spaghetti at the wall and see what happens.
Yeah. At the end of the day, fuck it, right? Like, if we're wrong, yeah, we lost some money. But if we're right,
Then we have a trade route with the Poles.
This is a hell of a discovery we
Yep.
are making. Yeah,
that's right. And
This
it
is
would
definitely
be-
the plot to the movie Transformers, right? Isn't that like how it started though?
Isn't that the right? Isn't the fourth one like they're in the earth the whole time, or is that the whole thing?
I stopped
Hollow
watching
Earth.
after the first one.
the hollow earth runs deep, gentlemen.
I
Yikes.
love it. And now with Atlantis,
You want the Atlantis?
He's
Yeah,
like,
what-
can we jump
Atlantis?
ahead to the water, please?
I'll give you the Atlantis.
yeah, what the fuck? How does it? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Here we go. So, in popular sci fi in the
Mhm.
early 20th century, coming to a close of World War II, what if I was to tell you that there are claims that Adolf Hitler himself
No.
Of course.
wind that the hollow earth contained the Hyperborean people? Now, if you guys remember back to our Atlantis episode, the Hyperboreans were the people that lived above the northern wind, also known as the lost civilization of Atlantis. So, if you're curious to know where Atlantis went in the eyes of Adolf Hitler, it is potentially straight into the hollow earth where they existed today, where he would be seeking to form an alliance with them, the
Oh,
original
no.
Aryans, to wipe out the United Kingdom.
Damn it.
So, according
Where
to
is
Hitler,
the fucking Hellboy movie about this?
yeah. So, according to Hitler, Arthur Curry, better known as Aquaman,
Yeah.
lives in Atlantis, which is in the Hollow Earth.
And he would desperately like to strike a deal with him to vanquish Winston Churchill.
I don't see a problem here. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
in.
No.
Oh, yeah.
That's crazy. that he
Did you
would
think it was going to go this way? Did you think we were heading in this direction when we started?
I really didn't. I didn't think it'd be connected to Atlantis, much less that Adolf Hitler also subscribed to the Hollow Earth theory vaguely.
Yeah, I didn't know that, but I feel like I should have. He was into so much other, basically conspiracy theories and weird fantasy
course.
garbage that why
Yeah, of
wouldn't he
course.
believe in the Hollow Earth and Atlantis?
You know what's weird to me? That both Adolf Hitler and John Quincy Adams tangentially had the same idea. You know what? Fuck it. Why not? Let's give it a shot.
Yeah. Best, worst case scenario, we lose some money. Best case, we're friends with the lost city of Atlantis.
In John Quincy Adams' presidency, Ethan, would he not have had a semi-adversarial relationship with the United Kingdom?
He would have. Yeah.
Actually, there's more to this than I thought.
There really is. I can totally believe that JQA would have been like, hell yeah. Yeah, this is it. I'm down for this one. I remember in the biography, the closest one to this they mentioned is that Europe was starting to get planetariums, and he just went off on a tangent about how we needed planetariums in the US to fight Europe's discovery of the planets.
He's not wrong. We needed them then. We needed the trade route. If we would have funded that, I bet we would have got to the mole people before Hitler did at least. God damn it.
Yeah. And then where would we be?
That's right. We would have green energy, a Green New Deal already.
Green New Deal with the mole people. Yeah. We would have 51 states.
Agreed.
The 51st one.
North America.
Northest.
Norther America.
Innermost America. Yeah.
That's just Idaho again.
So couple questions for you guys as we draw this one to a close, because we need to get some definite, understanding of where we stand on this conspiracy theory.
Oh, yeah.
So what's your favorite mythological version of this story, not counting Adolf Hitler or John Quincy Adams?
For me, it's hands down the lizard people. I know we didn't get a chance to touch on that one, so we'll give you the 10,000 foot view below the surface. Basically, inside of the Hollow Earth is one of the advanced civilizations of lizard people who have had some leave and control various Earth governments through the use of very advanced prosthetics to look like humans. And that, for me, is absolutely my favorite one.
That's a fucking Hollow Earth theory. Get the fuck out of here.
It sure is. Hang on a minute. I know you sent us a really good link that had the inhabitants being aliens, but this one, I mean, it kind of is. They kind of go hand in hand. They look at them as aliens. Yeah. But if we look at, let me see here. Let me jump down. I know this makes for fantastic radio.
Let me fill this dead space. They would not be extraterrestrials, but interior terrestrials.
They would be intraterrestrials.
Intraterrestrials.
And we would be the extraterrestrials.
No wonder they want to kill us. Jesus Christ.
It was us the whole time.
Yeah, there's also a whole thread of this that has UFO archaeology attached to it that believes that all UFOs actually come from the center of the earth.
Of course.
As part of the advanced civilization, which honestly probably ties into the reptile thing as well.
I could see that. I love that it seems like with some of these theories, it's like dudes sitting in a room and they're like, oh man, outer space is so scary. And the other guy's like, no. Inner space is the scary shit.
You don't even know the half of it, my dude.
Myself as holding a snifter of brandy in the 19th century, talking to other lawyers and businessmen, thinking, my God, what horrors do live there?
What lies within?
If only I could establish a trade monopoly, I'd finally have a leg up against my competitors in Boston.
And the other guys are like, oh, there he goes again.
There he goes. The fat bee guy is talking.
There goes Crazy Hallie with his comment.
Oh, boy.
So according to Erbo.com, which is a website about urban myths and conspiracy theories and all kinds of shit like that.
Mhm.
This is number 2 on their list about the Hollow Earth nonsense. Number 2, humans were created by reptilian aliens. Those aliens are either known as Anunnaki or just reptilians if you're looking for something less formal. They created humans as a sort of science experiment, but now they feed on
Less
our
formal.
babies.
It's Spanish.
And no, that's not a joke. As one believer's website notes, we live in a reptilian world. They need to eat, and we are a part of that system.
Absolutely. Totally
Some
get it.
believers say that that's why institutions like the Catholic Church promote human propagation to such an extent. Think
To
about that.
feed them?
To feed them. They think that Catholics promote not using birth control, just having as many babies as you can. Basically, Ireland is a baby factory for the reptiles under the earth.
Right.
Makes sense to me.
We eat the potatoes.
What if
They
the potatoes
eat the people.
were us?
We were the potatoes all along.
The real
Wake up,
potatoes.
sheeple.
Others say that the reptilians are living among us with highly advanced flesh masks to make them look like world leaders.
Like Ted Cruz?
Like Ted Cruz, exactly like Ted Cruz.
I could totally believe that.
I knew it.
And a lot of them
That's-
say, like, look, I know what you're thinking. This sounds nuts, right? And you're probably asking yourself, much like all of us have, why haven't we noticed our reptilian overlords? It's a good question.
I've thought
Some
that.
say,
I just thought that.
you're like, why wouldn't I have? I would have noticed a lizard guy walking around. Some say that we have. And most UFO sightings are actually just reptilian sightings. However, there are other explanations.
Sorry, Victor.
Yeah, sorry, Victor. Aliens are just reptiles. And they've indoctrinated you so thoroughly that you're probably too weak-minded to fathom that they exist, says this one Hollow Earth Believer's unnecessarily harsh FAQ page.
That's a mean post.
That is a
It
mean
really
post. So they're doing like that guy seems to be going for like a Lovecraftian thing where like we can't even fathom.
You don't even
They're
know
there.
my power.
They're there the whole time, but you can't see them because they're too scared.
That is
You pussy.
surreal.
Yeah.
That is surreal.
So yes, that's my favorite version of this.
My favorite, God, it might be Nick's as well. I love the idea of just walking in a cave, happening
And you're
upon
just,
the hollow. With how many people we have exploring caves and exploring the earth, like surely we would have been like, this is a really easy route. Like
Ew, and don't call me
cave.
Shirley.
Because it just seems too fishy that it's like, oh, all of these caverns go to the hollow earth, but like no one's given us a map. Have you like ever dealt with travelers? They just never shut up about like
Where they've been
yeah,
and how good the food is and how you wouldn't believe it.
Yeah,
wouldn't
you mean to tell
believe
me
it.
some Instagram influencer would have been
Yeah.
like, today I'm going down to the Hollow Earth.
exactly. And they got their fucking like camera thing, and they're like,
That's how we
Here
know
I
Ethan's a dad.
go.
He didn't know the word selfie stick.
What's up, fam? Here I am in the hollow earth about to chow down on some babies provided by the Catholic Church. Hey, y'all, JQA was right.
This is a local dish we just discovered. It's not like these people that have been living here for millennia have been making them. Nope. I,
Yep.
white cis het male influencer, found this myself. Anyways, go ahead and smash that like button, crush that subscribe button, and give me all your money on Patreon.
You'll never believe
GoFolkYourself.com.
what they do down here. They put mayonnaise in ketchup and they call it pink sauce.
Yeah, I'm in Puerto Rico, but I'm gonna find a cavern soon.
yeah, it's and then like the fucking, I don't know the name of this either, but the YouTube video before you click on it, it's just them making like a shocked face, like an exclamation points right there.
The like thumbnail where it's like,
Yeah,
you'll never believe what we ate underground.
the thumbnail, and they're like,
Number 14
Whoa.
will shock you.
yeah, exactly. And you click it, and it's like 4 minutes of them talking about, so I didn't think I'd make it to the center of the earth, but turns out this shit's hollow. Whoa.
You know, at first, when I started thinking about it, I thought that Hitler was crazy and that John Quincy Adams was full of shit. But like, there I was. I used my dad's credit card to go to the North Pole, and goddamn, there's a hole right there.
You can also sign up for his card by going to my site, amex.com, code underground. You get your own platinum card with 20,000 miles.
5 easy ways to get to the center of the earth. Travel agents hate him like that.
It's just one of those ads underneath a tech article.
Yeah, and you're like, huh, wow.
I don't know what's inside the earth.
Let's do a quick roll call of all the famous people that we touched on with this.
Okay. So JQA.
John Quincy Adams, son of Paul Giamatti.
Hitler.
Because it wouldn't be one of our stories if it didn't have Hitler in it.
He's always there, lurking in the darkness, looking for a leg up over Winston Churchill.
That's right, always.
Halley of the Comet.
Haley of Haley's Comet, or Halley, whatever. We've got Jules Verne.
Yep.
We've got Andrew Jackson in this.
Yep.
We've got
Euler of the famous
founder of modern mathematics, Leonard Euler.
Yep.
And then we also have literally Satan. Shout out to the big man downstairs,
James Woods.
James Woods.
This is quite a hodgepodge of famous people that you do not think would be connected to each other.
Oh, last but certainly not least, the reptilian Ted Cruz.
Yep.
Oh, hallowed be his name.
Famed protector of Goya beans, but not his whore wife.
Nope.
Ooh,
that motherfucker.
He just took it, I guess.
He did.
You know what? He just kind of sat there and he goes, yeah, that's her, but not my beans, damn it. I'm Cuban. I eat beans every hour of every day.
Beans. I'm the most bean-loving Cuban white guy you've ever seen.
He's going to stand up in front of the assembly and be like, look, I'm as big a beaner as you guys. Whoa, it's our word. It's okay.
Ted, it's okay. I'm a reptile from the interior earth.
I just imagine him standing there doing the tongue thing like David Tennant in Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Goya beans.
All humans are inferior in my eyes.
Anyway, vote for me. That's actually his 2024 campaign slogan. All humans are inferior to my eyes.
Honestly, I might vote for him if that's what he said.
If you listeners out there want to see where the modern versions of this takes you, just Google the phrase for me. NASA hidden photos, North Pole, and you'll be able to see exactly where modern people are taking this conversation.
It's a really cool exercise in rudimentary Photoshop. I'll put it that way.
And losing faith in humanity that much
every single day. Yep. I, for one, welcome our reptilian overlords.
And this is the first time I've meant it.
Yeah, I'm fine with it. I'm fine with that.
So how do you guys feel about the Hollow Earth? You feel like we've cracked this one?
Absolutely.
I do think we've cracked it. I partially subscribe to it, because why not? And I was happy for the Atlantis and JQA connection. This is a 10 out of 10 theory for me.
It hits all the things. And I know that, we talked a little bit about this for the last hour or so, but I hate to leave this episode without a mention of our favorite cryptid. And I think I'll choose to begin to wrap this on this. There are practicing cryptozoologist bloggers out there that tie in the presence of Bigfoot sightings to cave systems that believe firmly that the Bigfoot phenomenon is attached to the Hollow Earth because he only shows up in places that have underground access. And he is one of the denizens of the lost cities that are below the Earth's core.
So now we have to wrap Bigfoot into Atlantis. You mean to tell me that walking carpet is going to get himself out of the water and then walk into a cave to go back home?
He's going to go up the shaft to come out, visit with us, and then return from whence he came back into the Hollow Earth to his megafauna and megaflora caverns of places that not even a living human could fathom existing.
That's why we always see him walking. He's just restocking up on his Wawa stuff. He's like, I'm getting a hoagie and going home, just like you do.
Give me that shorty and a pack of Jewel refills, and I'm out of here.
That's right.
No mango? Fine, I'll take mint. That's whatever.
That's fine.
Just get me out of here.
Whatever.
This
I'll go
is
to the
the
other one.
fucking mega theory. And
It is.
how in the fuck does flat Earth get more attention to this than this?
Hollow Earth is
shouldn't.
so much more dynamic. Flat Earth has one thing going for it, and it's, the government doesn't want you to see the ice wall. No, you're just assuming that the Earth is the Truman Show, not buying that.
Yeah.
Hollow Earth at least has legs.
Yeah.
Hollow
It's at
At least a big drill.
It's at least fun. You know, flat Earth is like, whoa, one thing. This is whatever you want.
One last thought before we sign off, and I want this to be a thought-provoking piece here. Now, obviously, we've covered a lot of things tonight. We covered UFOs, reptilians, John Quincy Adams, Adolf Hitler, the big man downstairs, Satan, the big man upstairs, Bigfoot, and we've got one last thing to think about, and I think we'll close this out on just this last echoing thought. We as humanity have only been able to drill 3 miles into the Earth's core.
Whoa.
So that being said, who knows if this conspiracy theory is what it is, a conspiracy theory, or maybe just merely an unproven scientific hypothesis from about the time that William Shakespeare was alive.
Victor, play the spooky theme.
And we're done.
Good night, everybody.